as MNM were able to take game 1 over EXCEL in fairly dominating fashion. I mean, everyone was talking about the EXCEL roster and how strong it looked. MNM announced late and came in hot.
Yeah, and you know, they really showed that although they didn't have the cleanest macro in every area of the game, they knew exactly what the composition needed to do. They knew exactly when they needed to find the team fight, and you know, they had some great mechanical plays. I think that's the huge thing, is that normally we sort of brush over that and go, they made great decisions, but Shogun had constantly great ultimates. I mean, it's obvious Shockwave had some great shockwaves. Just great play all around, combined with knowing what their comp had to do, led them to victory.
Yeah, absolutely. And Celtic Tiger, I mean, what do you think happens now? Does EXCEL completely change things up here, or is it?
I think we saw just so much coordination coming out from MNM. I'm not sure it was any specific thing in the draft that we would have seen, aside from maybe the Orianna. I think it was just they knew how to play fights a lot better. They were able to slow the game down. Even when it looked like they'd lost in the early game, they started matching them one side of the map to the other and kept the gold completely even.
Well, we want to hear what you guys are thinking. Tweet us at LVPUK with the hashtag Forge of Champions 1 with your thoughts about this matchup so far. What are you thinking of the MNM roster? Does Jokerism look alright? I want to know. What do you think?
You mean in game,
yes.
Right?
I mean,
he's very
just in
handsome,
general. I like Joe Kent.
Yeah.
He's a good lad.
Good lad.
I mean, Shockwave. How do you beat Shockwave? Is it Ben or Orianna? We want to know. And of course, if you guys are liking what you're seeing with Forge of Champions and you want to slice the pie, make sure you head over to forgeofchampions.com. Sign yourself up now. The second open qualifier starts July the 6th. You've got time to put a team together. And if you don't manage to do that, though, you can still sign up as a solo player and we'll match you with someone else. 4 other people, in fact. That's how many you need for a League of Legends team.
Yeah, maybe you'll find someone else who has a champion ult in their name and they'll be great at it, you know?
Yep.
They might get it banned away from them. If they do that crazy research, like look at their Twitter again, maybe.
I mean, yeah, that's the key.
That's the thing. Hades Nidalee was one thing that EXCEL definitely focused on.
Clearly, Shockwave didn't have an Orianna picture on his Twitter. I mean,
smart.
Yeah,
smart.
He kept a hit. Maybe after that game, he's like, oh, here it comes again, guys. I hit it. Well, it's like the banners as well, the champion banners you have on your profile, you know. Got to be secretive with these things.
Yeah, that's why mine is Udyr. Never play the champion, but I just leave it there.
That's a doubt.
Just aim for. I've actually never played Udyr.
Really?
Yeah.
I just do it because I want the tiger icon.
The tiger icon's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Good.
I actually bought the skid just for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Big investment.
It was a worthwhile investment.
Splashing the cash.
I've used it for like 3 years now. I think it was worthwhile.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think I'm stuck on an Aatrox icon. This is all relevant conversation right here.
Yeah. So wait,
do you know
what we do? Are we casting? Are we? Yeah. Wow.
We're going into picks and bans. Is what is happening here. And MNM Gaming are 1-0 up on the blue side. Have a bit of pressure when it comes to these bans and picks. Of course, it's going to be Zoe banned away. EXCEL sticking with the Nidalee Camille against Sendo here. We'll have to see if EXCEL do decide to take away that Orianna.
I mean, that's the difficult thing is that.
Ooh. Hey, there it is.
They read his name, I guess. There you go.
Maybe they just watched over that last game and went, that didn't go so well.
Yeah, they sat down together, right, and they went, right.
Where do you think we went wrong?
The Shockwave. Why don't we ban Orianna? And they've done it, so you know, hopefully things go better from this game. But looks like we're seeing a lot of power picks just cut away, but actually seeing a Rise ban coming very early from MNM, which is a bit of an interesting one. I'm not sure if Rippy had that much priority on it. I know he is someone who can play the Rise, but there are counters available.
Maybe their worry is one of the big things EXCEL did was have that good roam down bot. Maybe, you know, try to deny some of the lane priority. Rise being really good at shoving that early wave.
Or it could be the fact that they're planning to first pick Vladimir, which Rise does pretty well into. So put themselves in a good position here. And, I mean, yes, it's still a flex pick. It can still go bot, it can still go mid or top. But Rise is definitely a matchup who can shove the Vladimir in, and you can't really pull the route. Like, you could pull after the route, but it's very hard to look out on the timing and be able to avoid it.
Also, in general, just Rise is kind of annoyingly tanky for Vladimir to try to get through.
Yep.
Better to just sustain up against something squishier.
Yeah, and in return, we're actually seeing the Graves get picked up, which is something that EXCEL banned away themselves.
Yep.
So put themselves in a position where MNM could have chosen to take this jungler that they didn't want Hades playing, or the Vladimir, and good trade-off, I'd say. Graves definitely something that is strong in this meta, and with 2 power farming junglers in the terms of Talia and Nidalee banned away, then a good pickup. But something that they haven't prioritized before has been picked up. Dallas, if you want to talk about that.
It's the Lucian. The Lucian, so far, EXCEL have not played it, which is surprising considering that pretty much everyone else so far on 8.12 and 8.13 that we're now playing on has been prioritizing that Lucian. Instead, it's going to be Nocturne and Kai'Sa, picked up by MNM Gaming very quickly.
Yeah, so you sort of commit to the Vladimir to the mid. I mean, you could put it top still, but the main thing is you picked up this Kai'Sa, you've matched the 80 carries Lucian. All you really have to do is get it out of the laning phase, and it's going to start to scale up. So EXCEL, again, looks like they are going to want to get a bit of an early win with this one if they're going on the Lucian.
And I really like Lucian Braum as well. Really good push lane, really good strong all-in early on.
Yep.
Last time we saw it responded to with Callista Thresh. Kai'Sa generally doesn't have as good of a response into it, but scales up really, really well alongside the Vladimir, and even Nocturne for that mid game.
Yeah, and you can see the Morgana bans out, pretty obvious one, as it's very hard to deal with and pin down the Kai'Sa when that's picked up as a support. EXCEL no doubt going to focus on the support pool, and MNM probably going to ban away mid laners here. I mean, Cassiopeia is a good counter onto Vlad if Rippy's willing to play it, but there are a lot of mid laners you could punish in regards to the support, and they have gone for the Cassie.
I'd be looking at Igloo now. You have the Shen Ornn that could go with Nocturne.
Yeah.
That could be really big for them. We saw that kind of prioritized previously. MNM, with the good coordination, though, could be the team to pull it off.
I think Ornn is more of a pick for EXCEL. EXCEL have the Braum. It's obviously going to block the Ornn's engage. So EXCEL could pick up this Ornn as a 4th pick if they want, and it means they'll see where the Vladimir goes before they pick their mid laner.
Ooh. Okay, so Shen's been left open here by EXCEL Gaming. Darius, the last to ban. That does give MNM Gaming the opportunity to either ban away the Ornn if they're worried that EXCEL will pick it up, or leave it open, meaning that they can secure one or the other.
Yeah, and it looks like they're just going to get rid of the Lulu, so continue to focus in the mid pool. EXCEL have the option of picking up the Ornn here if they want to invest in some hard engage and a strong tank in the top lane, but actually going towards the Swain instead. So
we did see that banned last game. It makes sense here that you've banned away still a huge amount of mid laners. Try pick that up for yourself before Rippy really starts to struggle.
Yeah, and I think it's a good pick. I mean, it's too tanky for the Vladimir to completely one-shot Kai'Sa. It's a bit risky going in. And I think something that I really glossed over and missed was the fact that, yes, they could have picked the Ornn here, but you already have the Braum. If MNM picked the Ornn themselves, then they're putting themselves in a bit of an unfavorable position.
Yeah, it's going to be Mundo locked in here for Igloo, so sticking with it, meaning that the Braum could come through for EXCEL if they want it.
Yeah, and I think something that I know Sando likes is he likes to have counter picks in the top lane, so he now has Mundo picked. He knows what he's facing against. He should be able to pick something that gives him a good lane matchup.
Fiora, potentially?
Yeah,
a lot of things
I mean, the difficulty is you banned away the Darius, and that's something that can definitely punish him. Looks like he might be heading towards the Gnar, which is something we haven't seen so much on this patch recently, but could definitely do some work to the Mundo in the early game. And once again, you're seeing a comp from the side of EXCEL that is quite early game focused. You want to sort of get those early leads in the top and the bot lane, and then hopefully crush MNM before they can scale.
I mean, I can appreciate going for this Gnar pick, just to focus on that before we go to the comps as a whole, because previously you see Mundo locked in, you go, okay, we'll pick up Aatrox. Aatrox just kind of got removed from this tournament. So
he's obviously reworked as well. So,
yes.
You know, before Aatrox used to be
the go-to, because you had the Gwinsus, you had the healing, you had the whole thing going for you. And now leaning back towards something that can maintain range, can get Executioner's Calling, and can do a huge amount of consistent damage and just kite Mundo down with the Frozen Mallet.
I think the only problem is that when you're getting engaged on by a Nocturne, when the Shen's on top of that, when you have a Vladimir dive in your backline, it's very difficult to see what EXCEL are going to be able to do. If they don't have Gnar in Mega, which is hard to always have when you're facing against a Nocturne who's got easy engage, how are you going to be able to team fight? It seems like they have to snowball the early game, which is what we saw last time, and although they managed to, they didn't do it enough.
Yeah, I'm leaning towards the MNM comp this time as well. I like their scaling, I like the way their team fight comes off, and based on the last game, their team fights looked a lot stronger than EXCEL's. It's now basically time to find out whether it was the Orianna or whether it was the team.
Yeah, no, that's a really important point. You know, obviously Shockwave clearly likes the Orianna, but this is where you know, his metal gets tested. Is he going to be able to show up Vladimir, obviously a champion that, you know, scales fantastically into the late game and can be pretty impactful as well. I'm super excited to see how this this Nocturne Shen does play out. Of course, not quite the top lane Shen isn't as scary, maybe you could consider, because it's not going to have as much gold into it, but Shen's just...
It's the shield more than anything. Like, the shield comes down onto the Nocturne, or you could wait. You could wait for the CC to come down, and then you ult onto Kai'Sa. Shen Kai'Sa is a very commonly picked duo as well. Normally with the Shen top, but of course Shogun loves himself some Shen support.
Yeah, and I think Shen does really well into the melee bot lane matchups, particularly with the dodge ability on his W. You can stop them from applying the Braum passive. I think it's a good pick in general. The thing I have to say, though, is unlike last game you had an Orianna who's able to safely wave clear. You don't really have that in this game, and I feel like, although the comp does scale well, I think if either comp gets ahead, it really looks like they'll just be able to finish it out, because if you're in this situation of MNM, if you're behind, you have no wave clear, you're just going to get shoved in, EXCEL will out-rotate you, and it's going to be hard to do anything. But in reverse, if EXCEL fall behind, they'll just have Nocturne Shen diving them consistently.
I'm really looking forward to seeing that. It's always a fun one to watch, because you just get to watch Nocturne slowly sail his way into the fight, followed by Shen, followed even by Kai'Sa now. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing how these team fights play out.
Yeah, you got a Mundo coming on the other side as well.
That's like, less interesting though. I mean, he just runs his way into the center.
Like, hey,
but that's the important thing, is that, you know, one guy's coming from this side, the other's coming from this side. It happens so quickly. Good timing from MNM, and all of a sudden EXCEL are forced into a fight.
Yeah, and I think that's the versatility of the Shen pick here, is that you have so many options to pick. And the thing is, a proactive Shen is so much better than a reactive Shen. If you're just ulting to be like, oh, look, I'm here, I'm saving you from getting ganked, it's not that useful. If you can ult in aggressively, it's so much more impactful.
Yeah, so we want to hear what you guys are saying. Make sure you do tweet us with the hashtag ForgeOfChampions1. Does look like we've got Barrage kind of showing a bit of sadness. They did get knocked out yesterday by Super Duper Giant.
The sunglasses hide the tears.
Yeah, it's true. Everyone watching, good to see Ryan, General Coxey, watching from the safety of home. What's more important?
Yeah,
that's a lot of beer.
Or
when he says he's in Germany, so he would have a lot of beer. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe Germany also knocked out of the World Cup as well, so iconic moment. And nice to see you. We love you too, Matt. Glad that you're enjoying it. If you guys have nice things to say, or I mean, maybe you just have your...
Wait, you're allowed to say horrible things if it's addressed to either of these two, not to me, right?
I mean,
this is just flame-free zone. Don't mess with my aura.
Tweet us out with compliments
right here.
Yeah. If you've insults, you know, maybe don't tweet those out.
Actually, here's a suggestion. If you have any insults, write them down on a piece of paper, then put that piece of paper in the bin, and you'll probably get
we'll find it. Maybe we won't.
Yeah. You know, who knows? No, if you have any criticisms, we'd love to hear them as well. Obviously, this show is for you guys, the viewers, so happy to take them on board.
And this is the first time as well. Really excited to get things underway with Forge. I love joining you two beside me. It provides great analysis, great fun, great banter. It's what the UK is all about.
And Ireland.
Important.
Did you hear something? There's some feedback in my mic. I just heard, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Predictions. I'm going to ask them. We haven't done predictions yet tonight, but I figure we might as well, because it's EXCEL MNM, and currently we've seen MNM show up. Starting with you, Celtic Tiger.
I lean towards their draft. I lean towards their team play. I think it's MNM.
I'm going to go with EXCEL. I feel like they have a composition where if they get ahead here, it's going to be hard to stop them. So I think they're going to bring it back.
There you go. Well, it's one apiece. Let's find out what does happen. Back on to the Summoner's Rift for MNM versus EXCEL here. EXCEL having to come back into this series. We will find out. It looks like it is a stack coming out of EXCEL, pushing into the jungle of MNM, and MNM are going to just allow it to happen.
They got that ward. They're 1 CS up.
Woo!
Game's over, man. They've won. They've won the early game. That's the lead they needed. And if you look at the build, yep, so Rippy's picked up that 1 ward, and he now has 4 items.
Minions have
Success! We did it!
Yep, we did. No, but it looks like they're going for another aggressive early game play. They have spotted that ward. It was just about to go invisible, and it looks like they're going to try and contest the enemy red. And as you can see, Igloo and Hades are going to do the same in return. So might well be a trade-off of buffs. No doubt both junglers will then take a scuttle each and head towards the top side, but know, quite mean of them. You know, you're taking their buff, they should get to take yours, but it looks like he's going to try and disrupt a little bit here.
Yeah, Sendo is not going to allow it to happen too easily. But of course, it is going to happen, regardless if you like it or not. Smite kind of does work.
Yeah, it's pretty good at securing those objectives. I guess that's why junglers take it, you know. Makes a lot of sense. Seeing some aggression bot lane. Strong level 1 from Lucian Braum. They'll block the passive and back off, though. Again, this is a bot lane where they need to press the advantage. In the last game, Lucian Braum against Thresh, Kalista, both bot lanes were aggressive early game bot lanes, but here, Lucian Braum definitely has the advantage, and you should want to capitalize on that. However, we are actually seeing Quickstep pick up the exhaust, so bit of an interesting decision. Will provide some good peel late game, but less pressure in the laning phase. And they actually end up losing out on the level 2 as well. Catch up fairly quickly.
Oh, flash straight forward. Quickstep wants it. Stun coming through. Taxis coming in as well. There's the exhaust. Jokerism knows he's dead. And that is going to be first blood going the way of Venza.
I absolutely love that from Quickstep. It's the aggression. You're confident in this plays. And when we actually had this series earlier for Field, it's what they lack. You know that you're going for this play. You know your jungler's there. You flash in and make it work. And they're rewarded with an early kill.
Well, we'll see that one again. It really was beautiful stuff coming through.
Taxis in the wings. Great flashing Quickstep because it just got past Shogun. And then at that point, when they saw Taxis, Shogun and Jokerism knew he was dead. They don't burn any flashes. And Shogun gets away, but still kill over to Venza. And he now has tempo in the lane. Although shorter death timers in the early game on this patch and TP means Jokerism doesn't miss too much. But he is now down 2 longswords compared to Venza.
That's exactly it. 2 longswords in the inventory of Jokerism compared to, well, just nothing. You got yourself a control ward.
Refillable potion. So
refillable potion, control ward. Vision is an important thing.
Yep. And it might have been able to prevent that, because that was the thing, is that I feel like it's a bit of a... I mean, it's one of those situations where you say, maybe we could have prevented it, but honestly, you knew Tax was on the bot side. Maybe you just anticipated you'd go back to his own jungle, but you have to play a bit more respectful. I'm sure Venza did, Sendo did on the top side when he knew Hades might be there, so just maybe not the respect from MNM after, you know, they ended up winning the first game. They have to remember that it's a new game, they're not ahead anymore, they're actually behind now. You have to play with respect.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. MNM did came back from behind in the previous game, so this first blood doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it does give the opportunity to Venza and Quicksa to just continue snowballing that lane, and that's like you mentioned, what Brom and Lucian want to do.
Yeah, and it looks like Quicksa already want to go for an incremental advantage. He's recalled and picked up the upgraded Relic Shield to get some extra gold generation. Sendo can sense the aggression there from Igloo, just decided to choose to jump early, and he will be saying to his team, Hades is definitely top lane. There's no way Mundo goes for that, and Hades actually going to walk over a ward here to get spotted out.
Really good sense coming through. Great move from Zippy. Not really wanting to take a much.
Zippy. Yep, Zippy the mid laner for EXCEL.
Zippy. Another fight coming out. Shogun potentially going to get locked up here. Is able to taunt away. Jokerism taking so much damage. Those refillable potions will return some health, but it is just such a one bot lane already. Yeah,
really good trade from Venza. Waited for the dodge ability, the W from Shogun to run out. Finished off getting the stun proc, and then obviously Shogun had to taunt away, which meant Jokerism was a bit exposed. And again, they're not getting kills, but this small lane advantage just means you have more pressure, and particularly when the first Drake is an Infernal Drake, you want pressure in your bot lane.
Gonna be hard for MNM to really do anything about that Infernal Drake. This is where things get exciting. Do see that Nocturne in the bot side is going to get spotted out due to the vision that's in the river.
Yep, and it seems like EXCEL's spider sensors are tingling, and they do decide to play back and a bit defensive, so aware of the threat that this Nocturne could have. Don't have vision on Shogun though, so could potentially go for a taunt here, but looks like Hades just going to recall here, and EXCEL going to continue playing safe. But that's the thing. Although they didn't get an aggressive play there, Hades can just go back and start farming, and he's relieved a bit of pressure from his bot lane.
The really important thing though, EXCEL, with the prediction that Hades was bot, Taxa immediately runs into the topside jungle and steals away as many camps as possible. In fact, in a bit of a skirmish over those camps as well, is going to be able to walk away fairly safely, but able to take at least the Gromp.
Yeah, and the key thing is you now have vision on where Nocturne is. Nocturne is getting very close to his level 6. You need to know where he is on the map, because it's going to dictate where he's going to ult. Yes, the ult has quite a big range, but it's not that large at level 1, and you want to know which lane he's going to head towards to make use of that, because it's hard to prevent if you're not aware of it coming.
Well, with all the topside camps down, it means that the Nocturne most likely going to be funneled into the bot side, and that's where you can make the assumption
You'll hit level 6, yeah. So bot lane knows they need to play respectfully here. They force the Kai'Sa back, most likely going to shove themselves, recall for some items, and then they know that's when Hades can strike. Looks like they're actually going to move with Taxa to establish some vision control. Hades doesn't actually hit his level 6 off that red buff where Taxa has here, so this is actually a window. Good window from EXCEL to punish here. Nocturne doesn't have his level 6, so if you want to go for the dragon, now is your opportunity. Nocturne's in a situation where none of his camps are up, he can't get his level 6, and if you fight without it, you're at a disadvantage.
Doubt this is going to be a fight over the dragon that MNM can win, but they are at least posturing in such a way to try and force EXCEL back off it.
Got to be cautious. They're very scared of the threat of Shockwave getting a big ult.
Not to mention, Igloo level 6 now on that Mundo. Bit of a scary threat.
Oh, I mean, they've just given up the pressure. I understand it. There was a lot of threat. If that fight went wrong, the game was pretty much done. But at the same time, they've missed a window here, and now Hades is going to get his level 6. And that's when a lot of threat comes in from this Nocturne pick. Has just picked it up now. And bot lane's very pushed in.
He's going to head to the top side. Does look like EXCEL are going to fall back. In fact, they've sent Taxa down to the bot side, ready for the counter gank, if it was ever to come.
Oh, he walked into a warded brush. That is an unfortunate situation. He sees it get procced, so he knows that he's been spotted, but this is a great situation for Hades. You could probably go topside now. I mean, we're seeing aggressive trade mid, but Hades, yep, he's going topside. He knows that Graves is in there, and he's going to ult in.
Paranoia on to the Nara. Flash on over as well, but Hades continuing. Cleaver, Flash, Sendo may be going back to base, and he will. It is going to be the kill, going over to Hades.
Yeah, in a normal situation, it's risky to commit your Flash as Igloo when you don't know where the enemy jungler is, but you 100% know he's bot lane, and it's a good play from the Nocturne. 1 ult, 1 kill, that's exactly what you want.
EXCEL not even able to move into the Drake since Hades. Taxa had already went back to base. Really good timing. They are going to move in on it now. Nocturne known to be on the top side of the map, but here comes the teleport coming out of the Mundo. Replicated by Sendo. It is going to be a fight over Drake, and they're going on into it. Oh, the Drake's been left. It is going to be onto MNM. They fall. Drake secured by the Kai'Sa on the backside, and the first kill is over to MNM. All kills going MNM's way. Finally, they find one of their own. Jokerism, Shen keeps him alive. Sendo will go mega, but it's far too late. He is dead, and it's going to be a clean ace coming through for MNM.
Yeah, I don't think that could have gone better for MNM. I mean, EXCEL wanted to get the dragon and maybe try for a team fight, but they hard lost that team fight. They also lost the Infernal Dragon, and we're going to see it here. So EXCEL committing to this, but they're running low on mana, they're running low on health. It starts to get low and low, and Shockwave comes in. He gets 3 targets, no 2 with his ult, and then they decide to go aggressive on him. He soaks aggro. Jokerism picks up the Infernal Drake, but actually Taxa flashed over and didn't get the smite. And then in return, you can see Hades sitting in that bush, gets 3 autos onto the enemy team, and EXCEL just look in shambles. Just not the coordinated team that we saw at EU Masters and last split. And they are getting dominated so far by MNM. And like we said, well, next Drake's an Infernal, so if that's picked up, it's going to be very hard for EXCEL to come back. But not only that, we said this team needs to win early. Whichever team gets ahead in the early game is going to be able to snowball it. And, you know, MNM are now in that position.
Incredible stuff. Dabbing on the haters as they go out. The Dabbing Penguin, obviously the best moat, and if you don't use it, you are wrong. Right now, MNM up by 1,500 gold over EXCEL. And you have to consider this this bot side matchup that Venza and Quickstep kind of got the advantage in. Kind of all for nothing at this stage.
I think it's one of the things, the one I want to talk about is the mid lane, because obviously we saw disparities in the mid lane last game, but in this game it feels like Shockwave has constantly had a level advantage, and then the threat from Rippy just hasn't really been there. He hasn't been able to threaten the Vladimir lane, he hasn't really been able to do anything from having lane advantage, and now he's in a situation where
he hits the vision, but it's not quick enough. Shield is going to be going in. Taxa trying to come in to save, but it's not going to happen. That's going to be Sendo going away. Taxa now in trouble, getting slowed on down. 2 kills going over to MNM, and they are just ripping into EXCEL at this stage.
Yeah, I mean, perfect play from Hades again. I mean, last game he had some great ganks, but here, pulling up every single Nocturne ult he does. And you can see Sendu just oversteps here. He feels confident with the Mega. He goes for the ward, gets it. Oh, there's a Nocturne there. goes for the ult, but it's a great spell shield from Hades there. Doesn't get CC'd, and then he's easily able to land the fear, even with the stun. And then, yes, Taxa turns up, but the only target who is slightly low was the Mundo, and he's healing up very rapidly, and you've just given them a second kill. So not a great situation for MNM. And at this point, you really have to wonder, what can EXCEL do from here?
Rippy did try to get into that fight, but Shockwave kept him back and in fact won out the position war as well. MNM just all over what EXCEL is putting out. Great advantages being opened up by Hades. A Rift Herald, I believe, was just placed down in the top side. We'll have to see if EXCEL can do anything with this. I mean, we'll have to see. They are just going to take the tower. There's nothing there to stop them doing so.
Yeah, good play from them. They knew that the enemy team were recalling as a result of that prior play, so they get a chance to use the Rift Herald. They do get the first tower blood, but again, they're behind in gold, behind in the Infernal Drake, and they're in a situation where they're going to struggle to fall behind.
Sendo is just continuously being targeted here from Hades. He is just going to go down despite the Mega Gnar. Nothing he can do about it. 1-4-0. This carry threat from EXCEL being shut down.
Yeah, this is dire. I mean, you picked the Gnar for a winning lane matchup. You're now 1-4. That's not winning lane, if anyone's wondering. And this Mundo is now 1-1-7. He's been part of 8 out of the 9 kills. And this is great to see from Igloo, someone who his first split, he was in as a sub, and he had a good performance. His second split was a bit lackluster on tank, but he's doing great here.
Shockwave going to pull on up, try and escape, flashes away from the Glacial Fissure. Going to make things very easy for himself. And with EXCEL in the mid lane, it could be some threat onto the tower. Doesn't look like it. Instead, they see Kai'Sa has been pushed up into the top side. Lots of vision to catch this one out. I'm not sure they're actually going to be able to get on to Jokerism in time. In fact, they don't, and now Taxa is all by himself, and Taxa is dead.
What a play from Jokerism. He just catches Taxa off guard. And who is this jungler? Because this isn't the Taxa from last split. This isn't the Taxa from EU Masters.
I mean, it is. He's known to be over-aggressive.
I mean, over-aggressive is one thing. This is a straight-up inting. I mean, questionable. Yeah, I mean, they try to force mid. It was a good attempt. And you can see Taxa walks in here. He isn't aware Jokerism's there.
I think he is aware.
Yeah, well, he's aware he's in the area, but wards. He starts to take a lot of damage. Gets hit by the W, and that's when your fate is sealed. Easy for Kai'Sa to follow up. And the thing is, you have to ask is, this Graves was an early pick. It was picked in the first rotation. I don't pick first rotation champions to go 0-3-0. I don't know about you, Delcy.
I mean, I just don't pick.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I mean, you can see the power of this knockdown, and this is something that I feel is hard to execute. Not every team internationally has picked this up, but it's been excellent in Korea. And
Igloo can just take care of Sendo by himself. Taxa is coming in. I mean, it's a Mundo. I'm not sure that means anything. And now that's just another kill going over to Igloo, and maybe he finds one onto Taxa.
Oh my
Holy
God.
moly, Cleaver. Taxa does dodge that one out.
Finally.
And with Quickseth there to help on, he is going to escape. Mountain Drake respawning very shortly. MNM on the top side taking down that tier 1 tower. They've got such a huge gold lead at this stage. It's unreal.
I mean, if your Gnar is this far behind against a Mundo, it's never going to get better. You are never going to be able to deal with that Mundo. He feels invincible already, and you can see he just run him down. And this is great for Igloo, honestly. I mean, we said he had it difficult last split, so he's just put on not even tanks like Mundo, he was putting these CC heavy tanks, and he's now, although he's still playing tanks, he is playing them in a more carry-focused way. He's there for his team, he's able to get advantages in his lane, and he's really paying off. And in return, MNM able to pick up 2 towers on the top side and skyrocket into nearly a 5k gold lead.
That's unreal, the percentage of kills that Igloo has been in so far. His kill participation is just a testament to how MNM are using him. EXCEL group up in the mid lane. Good wave clear coming out from Shockwave with that Proto Belt for now. And oh my goodness. If that's not tilt, I don't know what is. Quickseth throws out the Glacial Fissure, which was easily dodged.
This is the signs of a desperate team. EXCEL know they're behind. They know they don't outscale. They know that they are 1 loss away from being knocked out from this tournament. And they feel like they have to force, and they go for it. It looks rushed, it looks forced, it doesn't work, and now they're getting punished for it. And MNM are able to pick up another turret here.
Going to be able to pick that one up. Mountain Drake already started up by Igloo over there, looking to try and start that quickly. Already the Infernal taken. It's a 5,000 gold lead at this point, Ox.
Yeah, I mean, 5,000 gold lead at 60 minutes is difficult to overcome in any situation. But particularly with this comp, I don't see any point where it gets better. Unless, I mean, I guess the only thing you can hope for is that a couple of MNM players DC. I mean, this tournament is online, so that's your late game.
Late game strategies right there.
What if MNM's members' mums come through and says, "I don't care if you can't pause an online game, your dinner's ready." We can hope. Well, EXCEL can hope. MNM hope that that doesn't happen because they are quite happy with how this game's going. And we talked before about how these are household names in the UK scene, with long pedigrees and lots of precedence that's been set. And EXCEL more recently have been the stronger of the two organizations in the UK, but looks like MNM are definitely bouncing back. This is a team who has won the UK split, the Premiership, 3 times. And considering EXCEL were quite possibly one of the favorites going into this, if they trump them, could possibly speak of a 4.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a pretty insane thing to think of. Maybe MNM is back in town. And I love the change of pace here so far from MNM. We are going to see Shogun potentially caught out. It's pretty tanky, but I mean, there's a lot of EXCEL members here, and they really wanted that kill.
I mean, this is the play they were finally looking for. It's not a major one, it's not big or anything, but they got a kill. That's what they've been hoping for with all these aggressive plays. But it's a small consolation prize, and the thing is, I don't think they're going to be able to get this mid tower off the back of that. There is still a lot of force on the side of MNM, and the thing is normally if you kill a support, it's like, oh, well, at least he's off the picture. I mean, Shogun's up in 10 seconds, and he has his ult, so
Iglu's
helpful.
kind of roaming around the side. Sendo maybe caught out of position here. The Protobelt to find the positioning in. But without the cleaver connecting, there's no slow to be had.
Yeah, and again, like, you have a small window.
Oh, fight may be breaking out. That's going to be Glacial Fisher notch away. We're going into a replay. No, there's a fight breaking out. Well, there he is. He's dead, Shogun, and now everyone else is. Rippy just about to escape here. And it looks like MNM may have just been pushed back, but Sendo will lose his life.
Yeah, we didn't miss anything interesting anyway. We saw all the kills in that fight. Sendo gets taken down, and he is not having a good game on this Gnar. MNM, it wasn't the cleanest of fights, we didn't see all of it, but you can see the Nocturnal was sort of a defensive one when Shockwave got caught out, and yet they still managed to win, and they're going to claim 2 towers off this.
Wow.
This game is looking dire for EXCEL, and there's no consolation prize in the situation. The 2 dragons that have been taken are a Mountain and Infernal, possibly the worst in regards to scaling, and there's another Infernal coming up. And the threat of an early Baron is really there because, you have someone who can tank that thing for probably the rest of the night, to be honest. This Mundo takes no damage.
Yeah, and we won't even have to attack it. It's just going to happen. Let's watch the replay of that fight as it broke out. And it was just Igloo positioning. EXCEL weren't necessarily wanting this, but Sendo was caught out.
Yeah, so Sendo, no flash, used his jump already. They do start to look for Shockwave here, and he respects the Braum, so pops his pool. And then the Nocturnal comes out to cover him. Has to use his flash to get out, but they're now overextended. The Engage goes in onto the Graves, and in order to peel him, the life of the Gnar is sacrificed in the end. EXCEL, honestly, they got out of that fight so lucky. That could have been 10 times worse if they'd lost 3 more members, which, I mean, they had blinking health bars.
And I think if you're going to lose a fight at any stage of the game, it's probably best to do it before the 20 minutes. Yeah, it's now here. We'll have to see if MNM just goes straight for it. I mean, does it make sense? Their team fight is clearly working. Lots of vision is in this red side jungle, and EXCEL now starting to move on over. Sendo has teleport available. Igloo continuously pushing down this bot side lane.
I mean, this is the difficulty, is that in the last game, EXCEL had the lead. MNM had the scaling advantage, so as long as Baron wasn't done, they were okay. And then they had the chance to turn a team fight, which they did. I don't see a situation where EXCEL really can have a good team fight. The problem is everyone is so hard to group together and land in any sort of like damage run. You have to pick someone, catch someone off guard, and it's really hard when there's a channel available and everyone's quite mobile. So difficult to find a window. They might even have to just settle for a Baron steal if they want to find a window back in this game. But right now they're wanting to get mid priority so they can establish some control over the Baron area.
Yeah, I've seen this before from EXCEL, pushing down the mid lane. Worrying thing is that there's so much vision behind them. We can see that on our map.
I mean, this is the difficulty, is that they shove mid in, and in normal situation, as you saw last game, they'd head over to Baron and try and get some vision, but now they're so far behind, they shove mid and go straight back in their jungle to hide, so struggling here. They do manage to defend that one brush, but again, small consolation prize for the team. They have one brush, which they know is clear of vision and is very safe, and the rest of the jungle, who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah, Baron pit getting cleared out now. Unfortunate situation. And actually, that's one thing to say is that an interesting play is that Mundo is so far ahead bot lane. I think you could send the Shen bot, and then you have the ult to join if anything happens on the top side of the map. It's a play you sometimes see when there's an extra TP available. You could do it with Kai'Sa as well. You could send Shen Kai'Sa bot, kill the Gnar, and then you can all come in for the Baron if the enemy team try to try it. Potential to go for that if you want to force this. But that's the thing. I say want to force this. Next Infernal is coming up in 22nd, and MNM, they're still scaling, so it's not on them. EXCEL need to find a window.
I think that's really the key point, is that MNM don't actually have to do anything. You know, they're up by a good 7,000 gold at this stage. You know, nothing really that they need to do here, except for allow EXCEL to get more and more desperate. Allow them to potentially misstep, or if that doesn't happen, then they hit their scaling points and they just win the game anyway.
I think particularly picking up this next Infernal won't quite be as good on Kai'Sa because they did nerf the Ginsus and how much AP it stacks. Again, it won't be as quite good as it was last patch on Vladimir because they nerfed the ratio on his E, but I don't think anyone's really complaining. Still a ton of damage, a ton of stats. These champions are in a very strong position, and I mean, I can't predict a situation where EXCEL win a team fight. They really have to find a very lucky pick, which is going to be hard to do again against the Channel and the global pressure from MNM.
Last game, EXCEL took the early lead, and in the side lanes, they were in control. It was that mid lane matchup between Shockwave and Rippy where really MNM were able to find their spot. There's going to be a fight breaking out. Ooh. Oh my goodness, they've just deleted Nocturne. Maybe this is the miracle play they needed. Another kill will come through as Shogun goes down. The exhaust onto Shockwave, and they are just trying to strike. Shockwave running away, but with 2 kills going, EXCEL find a miracle, and maybe now the Baron.
Yeah, if they got that last Q onto Shockwave, that would have been it. That would have 100% been the Baron, but with him still alive, it's too scary to go for it. They're going to settle for a push in mid. It's still a great team fight from EXCEL, and it was the pick they needed. Will it be enough for them to really get back in this game, though? I'm not sure. They're still very far behind, but at least they're starting to show some life.
Really just a misstep coming through from MNM, as we'll see in just a second. Going into the jungle to establish vision, but doing so instead of as 5, as 3.
Big shutdown gold as well goes onto the Lucian. Has been buffed this patch, so very significant. I think it's going to be about 450 gold. So you can see Lucian picking up some significant items here. The difficulty is everyone on the other team has a lot of items as well. One thing to note though, lots of AP damage from the side of MNM, and the only AD really is a Nocturne. And we will see the replay. So Hades just sort of face check. He has been seen by that ward, walks in here, doesn't expect so much burst to come from Venz and Quickset and Taxa on top of it. They get the damage in at this point. MNM know the threat. If they commit to a team fight here and lose, they will lose Baron. Shogun gets taken out. Great exhaust from Quickset, dissuades Shockwave from turning, and then you see this last flash Q. If it hits Shockwave, I think that would have been enough for them to get the kill and go for Baron. Unfortunately, they didn't. They just had to settle with a couple of kills and a tower.
EXCEL showing that they have it in them to win the team fights.
I mean, that's the thing, is that EXCEL are an experienced team, and they have been in unfavorable positions. Last Premiership, EXCEL went down 2-0 against Misfits, and although they ended up losing the series, they did bring it back to a 3-2. We say as Igloo just walk.
Hi guys, I'm red team now.
Oh, wrong team, guys. Sorry, see you later. I'll catch you in a bit. Didn't mean to be on your side.
I mean, it was bold.
Oh,
I like it.
One mistake to note is I did say that Lucian picked up the shutdown gold on Nocturne. It was actually Taxa on Graves, but that's not what we're talking about now because Baron has been started and is going quite fast. Looks like they don't even need the Mundo to tank it. 4k HP, 2k. Well, at least they saw them finish it off.
Nice.
So, yeah, I mean, that really feels like a nail in the EXCEL coffin. Because now the control really goes up to MNM. They're not going to need to face check into EXCEL anymore. They're just going to look to push in these Baron waves and get control. And if things couldn't get worse, next Dragon's also an Infernal. So, more scaling for the side of MNM if they do pick that up. Which, I mean, frankly, when you're 7k gold ahead with 2 Infernals already looks stable. But again,
Can we catch someone
EXCEL
out?
going for their sort of cheesy strategy, which makes sense. You know you don't win team fights 5v5. You know you're not going to be able to shove out the wave. They go for a lucky pick, but MNM don't care. They're just going to sit in the lane. And the problem is, last game, it had potential to work, but you're dealing with a team that has so many globals, are so hard to pin down, and they have the Channel as well. So wasn't going to work. They back off and recall, and now they have to answer the push in mid.
Yeah, no reason for MNM to be there. The red buff was up, different story. Jokerism not going to be caught out in that bot side jungle. MNM setting up the split push. It is going to be a 1-3-1, as you would expect, a team that has so much global presence, although Shockwave, the one person who really can't join the fight that quickly.
Yeah, Shockwave, to be fair, Shockwave's been fairly quiet this game, considering, not in the Oriana. He had such a great performance on that. But this game, he's just sort of been happy to chill, and it's mostly been performances from Hades and the rest of the roster, particularly Igloo having so much kill participation that's led to the position they're in now. EXCEL trying to go aggressive here, might find a pick.
Yeah, they have. It's Shogun taken all the way down to death. Igloo in a bit of a brawl with Sendo on the other side, but Rippy wants to try and get towards Jokerism. Here comes the re-engage from Hades into the middle of the fight. Gets stunned, but will be able to retract. 1-2 for Jokerism. Make that a third. Jokerism wants the more. And it is going to be Sendo taken out in just a short second by Hades. 4 kills over to MNM with only the 1 to show for EXCEL. And this is going to be MNM taking the base.
Yes, that started so well for EXCEL. It looked like they really got an advantage there. Great ult from Sendo in the end, but then Hades decides he's coming in, and he's a champion who has 6 kills in this Nocturne, and he shut down Venza. They're now looking to end the game, and Taxa's the only one there. He's not really able to do anything, and it looks like Hades is going to take him with him. Stopwatch will buy some time for the swag, but he gets shut down. And MNM are going to close this with a clean 2-0.
2-0 over EXCEL, one of the most formidable teams here in the Forge of Champions roster, and MNM shuts them down and made it look easy. What a fantastic performance from them. 2 late scaling compositions, 1 that just got going early, and that's so hard to come back from.
I mean, we were talking about how MNM have had the longer games. They've been going a lot longer than some of the other teams have, and clearly they've just maintained form. They knew that if they forced EXCEL to play at their pace, they had more experience at it, and they'd win out.
I mean, I think that was very true for the first game, where they managed to stall them, and outscale. But this game, it's like, they won early with a scaling composition. I mean, EXCEL picked to win lanes, they picked to have advantages there, and they didn't. Frankly, if that's your strategy, it's great if it works, but if it doesn't, it just looks desperate, which is what they look like all game.
And I do have to give it to them. I don't think it was fully on the draft. Some of these picks individually are fine, like Gnar into Mundo, the Graves in general is totally fine, but it's when you start going 0-3 in the Graves, 1-5 to 1-6 maybe on the Gnar, like, you know, you just need to be playing those early lanes much better, basically.
Yeah. I mean, we had criticism that in the first game, at least, that the Kha'Zix for Hades may have not made too much sense considering the composition, but he just showed up in this game on the Nocturne with so much more pressure that comes from that ultimate. He was just in a playground. Quite literally, Taxa could not get involved. Hades shut down topside, making a winning matchup for Sendo, a losing one. And it was just incredible play from there. MNM really just showed that they were the dominant team in this series.
Absolutely, and I agree with Celtic Tiger's point about it not necessarily being a draft issue. It just felt like MNM knew what their composition had to do to win. They achieved it in the first game, although it did take some stalling out. And then it felt like EXCEL just fell apart in the second game. And we'll get to see that in these replays, unfortunately, if you're an EXCEL fan.
I mean, it started off strong, but it just started to fall apart. This Drake, just so low.
Desperate.
This was, I mean, it comes back to what we were talking about even from game 1. The team fights from MNM just look so much more coordinated.
Yeah, and I mean, if you told me that MNM had come second last split, that had a great performance at EU Masters, and they'd only changed a couple of players on their roster, I would have believed it from these games, because it looks like they're a team, it looks like they know how to play off of each other, as we've seen here, great from Hades, punishing Sendu consistently, and him and Igloo able just to shut down. This is a top and jungle combination who went head-to-head with a team like Origin and EU Masters and did pretty well, and yet here they just look exposed almost.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you have Venzer, who's also been this really good carry down there and just isn't really able to perform. In fairness, not hugely on him. He didn't get a huge amount of time or focus down there in the bot lane, and then anytime team fights kicked off, you are Lucian. It's not really on you to be doing this massive amount of AoE damage, whereas Jokerism the Kaisa can easily do that and take apart a fight.
That was the interesting thing. They started so well in the bot lane. It was the flash over the... They looked like they were potentially going to be able to take it, but it just did not happen for them. I mean, it's going to be pretty interesting to see what happens. You know, tomorrow we have some excellent matches coming up, and we'll get the bracket up on the screen after these replays have concluded. I mean, the one that I'm just excited for because of the name is Misfits versus Super Duper Druk Team. That's going to be the second matchup. Of course, it is going to be Diabolus up against Enclave. Yes, of course. And that's going to be really interesting. Diabolus, they're a pretty strong team. They've been doing some work as far as, you know, trying to make their team stronger. All of them living in Manchester. They're attending training sessions at the Belong Arena down there, really trying to make use of the esports facilities. But I mean, you look at the talent on Enclave, it's just pretty strong.
Yeah, absolutely. We are going to see the bracket here, but I think Enclave are a team who they surprised last split because Diabolus had a roster that looked very favorable. They had an XLCS player in the jungle. They had strong players across the board, and yet they didn't perform that well. They actually got knocked out of playoffs by Enclave in the Premiership, and here there is now a rematch. It is time for Diabolus to redeem themselves, Enclave to prove it wasn't just a fluke.
Yeah, and big rivalry match there. But on the other side, you know, you've Misfits versus Super Duper Giant Truck Team. Aside from just the names, Misfits have been this really strong UK side for a while now. Now you have this representation coming in from the Newell, the other open team. Can they have a better run than Phelan did?
Yeah, that's going to be really exciting. Misfits versus Super Duper Truck Team going to be coming to you live at 8 p.m. And the previous will be Enclave Diabolus at 6 p.m.
It's actually Super Duper Giant Truck Team.
Yeah.
Missed out the giant there, so just wanted to have it covered. They
I mean,
are big trucks, not just super trucks.
Yeah, I mean, it's based on a children's show. The trucks are normal sized.
Yeah, they are. Well,
Also,
I
they
mean,
counted a crane as a truck.
I mean, it looks like a truck. If you haven't discovered already, Super
Yeah,
Duper Giant Truck Team
go to
have
their Twitter.
formed a
They're
Twitter.
great. Yes,
They have a theme song. So,
it's wonderful.
Enjoy that.
That's the thing, if you want more content from all the teams involved, they all have their own Twitters. You can follow them there, follow their training, development.
So do we,
and
actually.
such. And yes, so do we. You can follow us. And the main one is obviously LVP UK, have all the news, and you can tweet hashtag 4Gchampions1, and we'll probably read some of them, especially the hateful ones, and we'll cry about them tonight.
We'll hop in, we'll defend ourselves poorly, see what happens.
We're just
You'll
gonna
keep me awake tonight, so if I look tired, that's why.
Hashtag Forge of Champions, if you have anything you want to talk about from this first showing of the tournament. We're going to be back tomorrow, of course, for some more action. And if you enjoyed what you saw and you want to be a part of it, head over to forgeofchampions.com where you can sign up for this second open qualifying tournament. This is Forge of Champions, 4 qualifying tournaments split into 2 stages, open stages for anyone who wants to join, and then the second, of course, this scoring stage, which we're broadcasting on Wednesdays and Thursdays as well, and where teams get their points so that they can attend the grand finals, which will be live in Barcelona at the end of August, early September. So that's essentially what Forge of Champions is.
Hey, get a nice little holiday as well.
Yeah.
Key thing to note, though, obviously we are a UK tournament, and we are hoping to move to London. The next one. Obviously, just testing the waters with 4G Champion here, but London's our goal.
I mean, LVP is based here in Barcelona, so start things off here. London, of course, where the UK lies.
Normally, I would have said it's like, you know, it's really warm in
Don't
Barcelona.
talk
Let's
about
enjoy the
Ireland.
weather.
Oh,
And yeah, that too. But you know, let's enjoy the weather in Barcelona. But I think it's actually warmer in the UK and Ireland right now.
Yeah, I got
So,
ripped off. I'm
yeah.
like, I'm coming to Barcelona. I want it to be warmer. You know, I brought some summery shirts and such. It's a scam. I've been ripped off.
They lie to you. The summer can be hot in other countries too.
That's it's actually amazing.
That's it.
I
It's
mean,
amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
Australian. I've lived in the UK now for 10 years. I'm used to hot summers, and I'm like, wow, the UK had it in it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you Australian from the way that you said ox instead of orcs like 86 times. You know, just yeah.
He gave it a good go, man. Come
I
on.
did.
No, I respect it. And he called you Celtic Tiger as well.
Celtic
which I know
Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man. You know what? I'm gonna buy you both ice creams.
I appreciate
Sweet.
that.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, we said we had our ice cream day after this, so
Yeah.
looking forward to that.
Yeah, let's get the timetables up of what's happening tomorrow. Of course, at 6 p.m. it is going to be that first matchup between Diabolus and Enclave. Quite a big one. Rifty already got himself a pentakill, but I mean,
Both teams have had pentakills.
Diabolus also.
Yeah, Cookie, the AD carry for Diabolus, has had a pentakill on Kaiser, and then Rifty on Darius had a pentakill. So hopefully, more pentakills tomorrow.
I mean, that's all we want. It's just pentakills. Joker
In
isn't.
fact, I would
kinda
honestly
close.
say if we don't get more pentakills tomorrow, those teams have both ripped us off.
It's just
Bold,
disqualified.
damn it. I mean, you know,
that's the expectation,
yeah.
okay?
You've set it high.
Yeah, so if you're watching this, Diabolus and Enclave, there better be a pentakill tomorrow,
There you
or
go.
else.
Ox has has promised pentakills at 6 p.m. tomorrow with Enclave and Diabolus. After that, it is going to be the Misfits Academy at 8 p.m. up against the Super Duper Giant Truck team, who just barely fit on our graphic.
Yeah, try and say that 5 times fast.
Super Duper Giant Truck team, Super Duper Giant Truck
That's
team, Super Duper Giant Truck team, Super Duper Giant Truck team, Super Duper Giant Truck team.
Oh, that got really sensual towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's why you're a play-by-play anyway, because you're supposed to say that stuff
Yeah.
fast. Yeah. Well done.
Well, we're not going to challenge ourselves right now. You seem to, you got it sorted.
Yeah.
We'll have it sorted again tomorrow at 8. Hopefully for a good showing.
Yeah,
make sure you tune in.
I mean, Misfits Academy, they're the first seeded team from the Premiership.
Yes, but EXCEL were the second seeded team, and we saw what happened today, so upsets galore.
true.
Super Duper Giant Truck team did actually win the Open Qualifier as well. So clearly showing that they're an excellent team. We'll have to see what they can do against the UK's former best in Misfits, and potentially still best.
I guess we'll see based on
I
tomorrow.
mean, you gotta think, they did win when I was on the team, then they came second, still going downhill since I left, what can I say?
What can you say? Hopefully not much more. We're going to wrap things up here. For the first of Forge of Champions broadcast, it's been a pleasure. Celtic Tiger and Orcs here. Axe here has been a pleasure working with you too. I've been Dalsey, and we'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. GMT +1 British Standard Time for some more Forge of Champions quarterfinals. We'll catch you then.
Forward to seeing you.